So I've only done 8 rows in stocking stitch, but as you'll see, my stocking stitch is longer than my garter stitch. That's because garter stitch has a different tension. So when I say the word tension, it just refers to how many stitches and how many rows you get to a specific measurement. So any knitting pattern will give you a tension, and what that means is you need to knit up a little swatch like this, and then you want to use a tape measure or a ruler and just place it on your knitting so you can count how many stitches and how many rows you're getting. So some patterns will give 10 centimeters, some might give an inch. So whatever it is, you want to use the measurement that they're given, count how many stitches there are to that measurement, and then you'll know if your knitting is the right tightness. So if a knitting pattern says you need 10 stitches to 10 centimeters, but you've got 15 stitches, that means your stitches are too small. It means you're knitting too tightly and you need to knit a bit looser, or you need to use a larger needle size. And the opposite as well. So if you are supposed to have 10 stitches and you have only 6, then your knitting's too loose and you need to use smaller needles or knit a bit tighter. So in stocking stitch, let's hold it up a bit closer so you can see. Each stitch has a little left leg and a right leg. So from the right side, each stitch is a little V. So each of these V's is a different stitch. So we can count across our stitches. So if you're counting stitches, you're counting across. If you're counting rows, you're counting vertically. So here, I know this is 12 stitches wide, but to actually count the stitches, you want to look at each V. So one V is one stitch. So you're not counting each leg separately, you're counting those as one. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then to count the rows, so you can count the rows on the right side, and you're basically counting up half of that V. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or, and I actually find this a bit easier, you can count your rows on the wrong side. So similar to garter stitch, each of these rows of bumps, so you've got a top bump and a bottom bump, these two little bumps together count as one row. So to count the rows, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can count your stitches on this side as well, and this is handy if you're working in garter stitch and your stitches aren't as obvious. You want to count a bottom bump and a top bump as one stitch. So from here to here is one stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I mean, obviously you can count. So for garter stitch, if it's easier, you can just count the top bumps or just count the bottom bumps. So you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't count the bottom and the top, so that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you do that, you'll get double the number of stitches that you actually have. So you're either counting a top and a bottom as one, or just count the tops, or just count the bottoms.